Yo, what is up, guys? Joker bringing you another video for the Legacy of Phercia mini league event we're getting here on February 20th. At this point, we've done 3 of the Ascendancies, right? And gone over, I'm sorry, 3 of the classes and gone over 9 of the Ascendancies. We're now on Witch. Hopefully, these Ascendancies are a lot cooler than the Ascendancies that the Shadow had, right? The Servant of the Akali and the Blind Prophet overall were kind of disappointing to me. But let's see what we get with Witch. So up first, we have Harbinger. We have Greater Harbinger of the Arcane. What does this do? Greater Harbinger of the Arcane. This gives you 10% cast speed. Right? Gives you 10% cast speed, 30% mana regen, and 10% lightning damage pin. I'm assuming it works on its own. Or you have to push the button, which would be annoying as fuck. Then we have 30% increased energy, a shield recovery rate, and mana recovery. Okay. Area of effect for hex skills. Temp Chains has no reservation if cast as an aura. Uh, I'm I mean, okay. Immune to curses while channeling. Immune to chill while channeling. Unaffected by shock while channeling. Okay. Buffs on you expire 30% slower. Debuffs on you expire 30% faster. There's not a there's not a whole lot of none of this is particularly interesting. What's the Greater Harbinger of Focus? Is that one of them? Yeah, of Focus and of Time. Focus is 20% DR and immunity to ailments and curses. Once again, at the push of a button, that seems kind of shitty. If you just have those abilities, that's pretty neat. And then Greater Harbinger of Time is the last one. And this one's just CDR, right? You get 10% action speed. Okay, never mind. It's not CDR. It's action speed. Okay. Overall, mid as fuck. I'm sorry. That just seems mid as fuck. Up next, we have Herald. So we have Damnation. Gain additional elemental damage. DR equal to half your chaos res. That's really strong. Maximum endurance, frenzy, and power charge is 0. That is also relatively strong because that allows you to do 2 things now, right? You're setting your maximum power, endurance, and frenzy charges to 0. So any item that says while you're at maximum frenzy charges or while you're at minimum frenzy charges, you're going to be meeting both of those requirements because it's setting your maximum to 0. So you're going to be at max frenzy and max power and a max endurance 100% of the time. So anything that says any of those, you're going to be able to get the benefits of. That's just generically good with how many items there are out like that. I don't know why I phrase that sentence like that, but then we go 20% chance to gain elemental conflicts for 4 seconds when killing an enemy. Okay. Future Guilt. Herald of Purity has 100% increased buff effect, 15% PDR while affected by it. Herald of Ice has 100% increased buff effect, and it gives 5 max cold res, and Herald of Ash and Thunder do the same thing respectively. For their buff effect and ailments, I mean, okay. 75% to Chaos Res while affected by Herald of Agony. And Herald of Agony has 100% buff effect. Okay. Your aura skills are disabled. 200% increased mana reservation efficiency of Herald skills. Okay, so just straight up Herald stacking. You might be able to pull something like that off really, 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 really well. Because you have an insane amount of reservation efficiency for Herald skills. So Herald, that's what you do. You're 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 Herald stacking because you can go ahead and have the coming calamity, right? Your aura skills are disabled, but since you're just going to be Herald stacking, that doesn't fucking matter. You can have a aura from Divine Blessing, I believe. Pewee. Right? Divine Blessing, doesn't this still like override it because it's not a aura anymore? It turns it into a blessing, right? So you're still able to use a skill as a blessing, and then you're able to have the 5 auras, and then whatever the fuck armor stackers use that buff the effect of heralds and auras is probably your best bet. And then the heralds are gonna fucking cascade off each other hard. So Herald of Thunder Auto Bomber is what I'm thinking your best bet is with this, because you're going to have all the Herald effects. You're going to have Herald of Thunder automatically built in here. You're going to have easily, easily 80 plus lightning res, right? So the Herald of Thunder procs aren't going to be hitting you that hard. Yeah, that's your play because you have the innate critical strike chance for Herald skills as well. The only one you don't care about is the Herald of Purity. So you would probably do something like +3 to Herald, uh, Persecution. Then you would do Herald of Thunder with Future Regret and Coming Calamity, right? Those are probably the nodes you would take. And then you would make sure you have all 5 heralds on and take pretty much everything that benefits you for having heralds on the tree. So that one was a lot more interesting than the last 3, right? These 3 I kind of hate and wish they were something else. But then we have Bog Shaman. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Venom Drinker. 100% chance to be poisoned. So if you get hit at all, you're poisoned. 5% to all maximum res while poisoned. That's why. You cannot be poisoned while there are at least 5 poisons on you. So essentially, what this does for you is it gives you a huge defensive layer where you just get +5 to all max res after you get hit 5 times. That's insane. You could hit yourself 5 times real quick before a boss fight to make sure they don't get any high damage poisons on you. But actually, that's 5% to all. So that's including chaos res. That's insanely strong. Nearby enemies' chaos resistance is 0, and chaos resistance is 0. Isn't that just original sin? Doesn't original sin do that? Nearby enemies' chaos res is 0. So I guess it has the additional downside of your chaos res being 0, but if you go like CI, you're that's just an upside, right? That's just setting the enemy chaos res at 0 with literally no downside at that point. Because these are the witch ascendancies as well, right? Yeah. So you're going to be super close to CI anyways. Eerie Silence gains level 20 pacify. Enemies pacified by you take 30% increased damage. That's pretty okay. Yeah, let's see what the others are. Because we also have to see what pacify does as well. What does pacify do? Pacify is uh pacify is a hex that targets enemies having no effect initially but causes affected enemies to deal no damage after 60% of the curse's duration has expired. Okay, so it's 4 seconds of no damage. That's pretty good, actually. Um, I wonder if you could just do like less duration and have it be like a 2 second thing and have like pseudo immortality, right? Because if you have it procking 100% of the time, right? And it's let's say it's 2 seconds, and then if you're essentially 60% of it after like a second, and then you'd be immune to the damage for a second. So you would be immortal for a second, but it would be a constant second. So you would always be immortal. I mean, at the very least, you could probably get some pretty high, um, you can probably get some pretty high effectiveness out of that if you find a way to automate it. Then we have Rotten Core. Your skills deal 100% of your mana spent on upfront skill mana cost as your skills deal you. Oh, okay, I read it wrong. Your skills deal you 100% of your mana spent on upfront skill mana cost as physical damage. Skills gain added chaos damage equal to 40% of mana cost. If mana cost is not higher than the maximum you could spend. Okay. I feel like that already exists. I don't, well, I mean, all of these already exist, but I don't remember what that is. And my brain's not working well enough to understand that right. Your skills deal you 100% of your mana, so you take the amount of damage of whatever your ability that you're casting is, 100% of that damage as physical, and then it gains added chaos as 40% of that. If it, yeah, I don't know. My brain's not working with that. Nearby enemies have malediction, increased reservation efficiency of curse aura skills. Oh, hey, that's neat. Skills gain a base life cost equal to 25% of base mana cost. Spells you cast Spells you cast yourself gain added physical damage equal to 80% of the life cost. If the life cost is not higher than the maximum life, that's pretty strong, actually. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty strong, actually. Then we have Toad Pack, 20% to all elemental res, not res cap or max res. So that's not really that bad. And you have 50% increased attack speed, 50% increased area of effect, and 50% increased. That's pretty fucking good, actually. And then lose 5% of your life per second if you've been hit recently, 40% more damage over time. So if you could find an easy way to counteract that, like essence drain, right? Because the projectile speed and the skill effect duration, then you'd probably just have a massive free more multiplier. Removes your energy shield, gain max life instead of energy shield from equipped armor items, -3 maximum life per level. I feel like we've already seen that a couple of times. Maybe Lance will do something with like a life stacker, bog shaman, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how we feel. This was actually a little bit longer, but I think that's my fault. I think a lot of that was brain lag. But if we had to rate which overall, Herald, Harbinger, Bog Shaman, right? Herald Stacker seems like it's going to be the most fun. Like Herald of Thunder Auto Bomber is probably going to be really fun. Uh, I mean, you can do some stuff with the Harbinger. Fog Shaman looks like it has potential, but I'm not nearly smart enough to figure out what that is. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with this and future content. And until next time, take care.